morning when I start my videos. Today we're doing some goal planning for, oops, almost threw Nicholas off the couch. Doing some goal planning and some vision boarding for 2023, the new year. I'm turning 30. I know I won't shut up about it. I'm turning 30 on December 26th. And I just feel like I want to exit the era that I've been in and like start a new one where I am doing my best, living my best life. So I set goals at the end of each year, hoping that in the new year I will reach all these goals. I am a really big believer in you can do whatever you set your mind to, and so I feel like a big part of that is getting those things that you want to do in your goals out of your head and like onto paper, or in my case, in the notes app of my phone. This video is going to be very like basic overview of what I do. There's so many other videos out there of like setting these goals and like manifesting and vision boarding and all of that. I'm just going to show you what I do, and I've kind of picked pieces from like things that I've seen online and books that I've read. So the way that I do this is I lay out everything that I have goals under like categories. So for example, I have personal goals, I have financial goals, I have relationship goals, and then each one of my businesses I have goals for as well. So I list those out kind of like their own categories, and then under each one I'll have like bullet points or like numbers 1 through however many goals I have. Something I started doing last year with these goals is I started writing them in more of like an affirmation way. I'm not someone who like says affirmations to myself in the mirror or anything like that. I've just never even tried it actually, but I saw this somewhere and I did it this way thinking, what could it hurt to write it this way? So underneath my goals, I wrote it in past tense almost, or like, how do you explain that? So basically how I wrote out each goal is I started with I. So I wrote, I launch my business, which was Arlo Mars. Another one was I read more than I scroll. So I wrote it in a way that it was like already happening. And I think what I read about that is it had something to do with like affirmations, and it does something in your mind, kind of like faking it till you make it, or like speaking it into existence. So I went with that last year. I'm looking at this now and I'm like, these goals weren't specific enough. I feel like I could get way more specific with the goals that I had last year. Like last year for Cherry Photo Club, when it was still called Cherry Photo Club, I wanted to work on something that I didn't end up getting to do last year. So I'm moving it to this year, but I'm being a lot more specific with how I write it and a lot more intentional with how I write out my goals. So I've already done my goals for next year. I also have a lot more goals this year than I did last year, and that's okay. I'll share a few of my goals with you just so you can like get some ideas. But if you're having trouble thinking of your own goals and like what you want to achieve in the next year, or you could even do it just for the next couple months, it doesn't even need to be for the whole year. But if you're having trouble, just go on TikTok or Pinterest and type in like resolutions or like 2023 goals, and so many different ideas will pop up, and maybe you'll be like, hey, that's something I really want to accomplish too. So under my personal list, I find ways to reduce stress. I'm consistent with walking daily. I make friends in the desert. I thrift more. I speak positively about my body. That's a big one because for me, I've always been very negative about my body. We all know the struggles, right? We know my history with all of that, but I noticed that nothing good comes from that, like hating on myself out loud and even in my own brain. Nothing good comes from that. I notice sometimes my mom will say bad things about herself, and it just makes me feel bad for her, and then I feel sad, and I don't know. So I'm being more intentional about that. I really want to stop talking shit about myself, is the point. A few more on my personal list is I have healthy morning and night routines. This is really important for me because I want to be able to like have an actual routine and not get stuck in like the daily scrolling or, you know, getting up and kind of like getting on my phone right away. So I really want to have really tied in morning and night routines that are just like non-negotiable. Another one on here is that I take a real vacation. I don't even know the last time I took an actual vacation where I wasn't going for work or to take photos, or, you know, I want to go on a vacation and actually relax. This year, like, I want to do that. I want to get off my phone and just have an actual vacation. That sounds so nice. Eating less sugar, that's going to be a really hard one for me, but it's very important for my chronic illnesses. Taking at least one day off a week from work, like no work at all, and just trying to relax. Very important for my mental health. Never done it before. I honestly don't know the last time I took like a day off and just had like full-on me time and didn't do any kind of work. Finding my personal style and stop wearing sweats every day as I sit here wearing sweats. Keeping an organized space with less clutter, and a few other things that are more personal, but I'll share them with you in the future. So then I go on and I have like my personal brand, which is like my TikTok, my Instagram and things. I have goals for that, just being more consistent, and some other that I feel like I'll share as they come up throughout the year if they happen. Then I have financial, talking about my income, paying off any debts I might have, the amount of money I want to have in a savings account this year. Be very specific if you're writing these out. Like I wrote the dollar amount that I want to have in my savings account. So there's a few more under the financial, but then I go on to Trashy Studio, Arlo Mars, and the other brand that I've been working on for way too long that who even knows when that's ever happening, but it's a mess. But I've been talking about it for years. Someday everyone will know what it is. But for Trashy Studio, I have a lot of fun things happening in the next year, and so there's a few goals for that. And then for Arlo Mars, same thing, we have a lot of fun stuff planned. So those are my goals, which leads me into the vision board process. And I already made a TikTok of this. I have my computer here though, so let me try and show you. Here's my vision board. I'm going to show you up close and more in detail. I'll put it on the screen, but basically what I do is I go to Pinterest, and if you want to see my TikTok I made, I'll link it, but I go to Pinterest and I have my notes app pulled up with my goals for the next year. Keep that up there so I can kind of reference what my goals even are. So I'll explain a few of these things to you for anyone who might care, but it's very personal, so when you're creating yours, keep that in mind. It's very personal to you, and that's how it should be, so you don't need to explain anything to anybody. One that was really important to me is this one that says, "Self-hate is dead, we are delusionally in love with ourselves now." That ties into me like only speaking positively about my body. Done hating myself at this point in my life. I'm so over it. So that one, I put this guitar on here and this Marshall amp because I want to learn how to play the guitar. I've wanted to learn to play guitar since I was like 11 or 12, and I have my own personal like teacher, so why not try, right? I put this New York one on here because Jace is from New York and I just want to spend more time there this year if possible. This photo of Kate Moss, just because I love her. She is my inspo for style and I just love her. She's so cool. This one here, you might be wondering, why do I have a tab of acid here? And Nicholas? The answer to that would be, I love the photo, I think it looks cool, but also tying it back into like just being a little bit delusional about my goals, and like I feel like that's the way I need to live my life, is I need to be a little bit more delusional about things, in the sense of I can do that and I can make $5 million if I want to, you know what I mean? Just like be kind of delusional. So that's what the acid is, because acid I feel like would make you delusional. And it's a cool picture. I like to look at it. This whole like color story and everything is very vibes for me. I put the dice on here because Jason and I got married in Vegas and it was one of the worst days of my life, but I want to have a redo at some point, so I put that on there to remind me of redoing that, just like me and him going to Vegas and having photos and stuff done. This little TV I made that says "Take a break" because I am known for never relaxing, and my therapist says that I need to do that and I need to figure out a way to actually relax, which I've been realizing the only time I ever relax really is when I'm reading a book, because I'm like, I'm not here, I'm in the book, so I'm gonna try and read more. There's some things on here that mean things to me that I'm not gonna be sharing because it's either a secret for now or, I don't know, I just don't want to jinx it or anything. I put some like fashion choices that I'm really into, and this year I really just want to find my personal style and like be confident enough to rock whatever I feel like wearing. So that's what these outfits are. I put "I am my own muse" because I should be. Live for art and die happy. Part of like my online career, I feel like, is trying to follow trends and like stick to what's trendy and, you know, hacking the algorithm, and I'm so tired of that. I just want to create like what I like to create, and if it works then it works, and if it doesn't then I'll go find another job somewhere else, you know what I mean? That's pretty much all I can explain to you on here. I put this teddy bear next to the word baby because maybe baby Levi will happen in the next year if my body allows. We just don't know. That's it. So I made my vision board in Photoshop. It's just what I like, but you can go do it on Canva. Canva's a really good one. There's also another app I saw that does the mood board type thing, like cutouts, but you could also do it on paper and have like a fun night, grab some magazines or even just print off Pinterest photos and cut them out and put them onto a board. That's really cool. I think it's important to have this vision board somewhere that you can see it all the time. So like mine is my phone background. I set it last night when I was done with it, and it's just a reminder. I had my last one as my phone background all year, and I just changed it last night. I just want it to be something that's inspiring to you. I'm inspired by like visual art and things like that, so this is very helpful for me. It's also my home screen background, but you can't even really tell because I have so many apps. Anyway, that's how I do my vision board and goal planning for the new year. I do this every year, and I found it to be very helpful to refer back to throughout the year and just like check in on how I'm doing every month or every 2 months. Having the vision board as my background just really makes me think every time I pick up my phone. I'm like, okay, is what I'm doing actually pushing me forward towards my goals or no? So that's how I try to live my life. And like I said, going into this new era, my 30s, I cannot believe I'm gonna be 30. I'm actually really excited for it, but it's also kind of scary. So I don't know, I'm excited for it. I'm gonna try and find my personal style in the next couple of weeks, months, whatever, and work on my goals, work on myself. Like I said, 2022 is kind of about working on my mind and like my OCD issues. And 2023 is going to be about healing my actual body, becoming more of myself, I guess. I don't know. Jace is also going to be doing his goals. He's not here right now, but he will be doing that soon. And I just believe everybody should do it. I'm trying to get my mom to do it. Everyone needs to have their goals written out, because if it just lives in your head, it's just going to drive you nuts. Because I'll think all day long, it's like, okay, I want to buy a house by this time. But if it's just up here, it's driving me nuts. Like, it needs to be written out. It needs to be thought about all the time, but in a way that's productive. Does that make sense? Anyway, that's it for this video. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to DM me or comment here. I love to chat with you. Send me your vision boards. I would love to see them. And if you have any questions about goals or anything, let me know. I think I covered everything that I wanted to say, so I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.
Hey Santa, how you been? How you doing? Thanks so much for the mic and reunion. This year I don't know what I'm doing, but if I don't get tickets I'm suing. You and me could have a pop-punk Christmas. I can find my binder of burnt CDs. Wait, I think I bought Uncle Christmas.